Good morning. You're welcome to yet another segment of lectures, virtual lectures on elements of advertising, MCM113. And to start this discussion, we need to introduce what is elements of advertising or what is the course all about. The course is here this morning presented by OGANDE, PhD. Introduction. The word advertising is a borrowed term from the Latin words advertere. Advertere simply means to turn the minds towards an object, product, service, or thing. However, as commonly perceived today, advertising is no longer inferred in Latin sense anymore, but as a subject of television or radio commercials, including print. As it is, the understanding borrowed from this Latin sense simply indicates that turning the minds is to the object of attraction. Because if nothing attracts you, there will be no need to turn your minds. In a sense, that is what advertising is all about. To turn our minds, to turn our hearts towards a message and a product that is desiring attention. How then do we look into the various definitions of advertising? Advertising generally refers to a paid disseminations of information through a variety of mass communication media to motivate a desired action. It also could mean a form of presentation, which is targeting at selling a product. However, the American Marketing Association provides one of the most important templates for defining advertising. It put it this way, that advertising is a paid form of non-personal presentation and promotions of ideas, goods, and services by an identified sponsor. This definition is important for several reasons. First, it captures the purpose and intentions of advertising. Secondly, it demonstrates the perceptions that is attached to advertising. And therefore, the breakdowns of the definition is as followed. We choose the components of a paid form of presentation or paid form of communication, whichever form it's applied. That is to say that every message of advertisement is actually paid for, since the intention is to sell. And therefore, it distinguishes itself from other forms of advertisement or the other forms of communication that may not really be for purposes of selling a product. It then means that it is possible to have a communication that is not paid for, like ordinary publicity to inform or to advocate. The second breakdown of the definition is non-personal. Advertising message is non-personal in the sense that it passes through an intermediary. That simply means that the advertiser is not himself the individual who designed the message. There are professionals who design and present this message through the media on behalf of the advertiser. And so the message, through the use of this media intermediary, shows that it is not personal. The third component in the definition of American Marketing Association is that this non-personal presentation is targeting at selling ideas, goods, and services. It simply means that when we advertise, we're not just doing it for purposes of selling products alone. We can advertise on ideas that may bring about good hygiene or mutual ways of living together, particularly in our country where there are several issues of frictions amongst ourselves. So ideas, lofty ones that can encourage togetherness and mutual coexisting, can also pass through advertising. Another thing about these definitions mention the idea of promotion. The message is a publicized message that brings the product into the knowledge of the public so that the product get be known. And as they are being known, or as the product is being known, there is a motivation also to demand. So to ensure that the product is sold, advertising does what we call promotion. The last but not the least in this definition is on the issue of identified sponsor. Every message of advertising has a name of either the company or the person who owns the product. And so those names actually identify whoever is behind the message. That is, who pay for the message. Now, we will have to look at the reasons for advertisement. What are the reasons that an individual, a company, or even a government has to advertise? The first, reasons for advertisement is done for the sake of promoting goods, images, services, and ideas. One aspect of it that is added here, which is important for us to explain, is about promotions of image. Reputation is key to acceptance of every company and organization. Once a company does not have good reputation, it simply means that individuals in the society can avoid any form of dealing with such organization. And so reputation is about good image. And therefore, one of the reasons that companies embark on advertisement is actually to enhance its good ratings amongst members of the public. The second one about the reason for advertisement is to enable advertisers send their messages. Any product that is hidden will not be known, no matter how important such product is, because the outside public or the target public does not know about the existence of a product. They will not desire it, they will not demand it. And so one reason advertisers has to advertise their product is to ensure that products they have are made known to the public. The third one is that advertisers pay the media through which they disseminate their message. That also is an important reason. Important in the sense that media most often depends on advertisement to fund their operations. And so the survival of every media to a large extent depends on advertisement. And therefore, the media and outlets have reasons to advertise a message. The other component of the reason is to create publicity for both advertised products, organizations, and their sponsors. Where a company is into advocacy, publicity is usually the watchwords that it applies to advocate its position or to defend that policy that it wishes the society to accept. Organization does the same, and any sponsors of the message, especially politicians who wants to be known, can use the podium of advertising to publicize himself or herself. Having said this, what are the types of advertising? This takes us to another important section of the discussion on elements of advertising. The first types of advertising is called retail advertising. Retail advertising is usually undertaken by retailers, by shop owners who intend to sell their products or service. A good number of times, advertisements usually are undertaken by the manufacturers themselves. This type is called the sell-in forms of advertisement, which is different from retailing. But retail advertisement is about sell-out. It therefore means every form of advertisement placed by retail organizations to do what is called sell-out, that is selling from the shelf of their stores. Big department stores in cities place some of these advertisements. We have the brand types of advertisement. Brand advertisement is a type that's centered on selling a particular brand, in the sense that the owners of the product can come together as a forms of cooperative association to undertake an advertisement to sell the type of products they provide. For example, farmers who produce eggs can come together to advertise product on the sales of egg. The third one is personal advertisement. As the word connotes, personal advertisement can be undertaken by an individual or a group of persons representing an association to publicize their messages. Most importantly, in political advertisement, a lot of advertising activities that takes place are personal in nature. The reason is because politicians mostly who act as an individual advertises himself using his manifesto to be able to persuade the target public to vote him or her. Personal advertisement can also fall under the categories of obituaries, marriage announcement, and some other forms of personal announcement to be able to get public attention. Finally, we have the direct action advertisement. Direct action advertisement can be by the use of carbon, requesting responses from target prospects of either a service or a product. This may be undertaken during product testing. The new product is designed. Manufacturers most often, tried the product to see its efficacy. Such forms of advertisement are done through the use of brochures or handbills or any forms of mail sent to target audience who now respond back on their feelings or perceptions about the new product. This will essentially provide enabling data for the manufacturer to take decision. Again, we have classifications of advertising. How can advertisement be classified? Now, in doing that, there are bases at which advertisement can be classified. The first basis is on the geographical coverage of advertising. That means that the localization or the space of coverage that advertising has can determine what types of advertisement it is. Assuming advertisement that is placed by a local retailer to sell its own product within that locality can be classified under local advertisement. We have the regional advertisement. In Nigeria, for example, where we have zones, 6 geopolitical zones, any form of advertisement that recycle itself within any of the 6 zones or 1 or 2 states within the same zone can be classified as regional advertisement. Those type of advertisement are usually placed on regional media such as states, televisions, or radio services that is only accessible within that particular region. Also, manufacturers use regional advertisement to test a new product because it does not want to launch it into the market at once. Regional advertisement can now be undertaken to see that such products have the prospect if at the end of the day is finally released into the market. We have the national and the international advertising. As the name simplifies, national advertisement covers the entire nation or country, and international is usually handled by multinational companies who can advertise their product beyond the shores of a particular country using international media. Again, classifications of advertising using the basis of goods or services. Some advertisements are meant to sell products that are durable in nature, consumer durable advertising, so to say. Things that has to do with machineries, cars, and the rest of them. Vocational advertising deals with manufacturers who are into productions of machineries and other raw materials that can be advertised to another manufacturers, falls within the category of vocational advertisement. For example, a company producing cotton or wool can package its cottons and wool and advertise it to another company producing fabrics or clothing. That simply means that vocational advertising is usually business to business advertising. We have financial advertisement. Financial advertisement is packaged usually by financial companies, financial institutions, banks that intend to sell their shares, debentures, and the rest of the financial matters. Any such advertisement about investment is known as financial advertising. You have public service. Public service are mainly announcements from government coffer to the general public. Some of these advertisements are advocating for behavioral change. At times, is to warn the general public about certain dangers in consuming some types of products. The general examples that we can give about public service advertisement is on tobacco. For example, smokers are liable to die young, or Federal Ministry of Health warns that smokers are liable to die young. These are some of the examples of public service advertisement. We have vocational advertisement. And thereabout. Then we also go into another important topic of this discussion, which is objectives of advertising. What are the goals that advertising is meant to achieve? A, to introduce a new product by creating interest for it among the prospective customers. Any form of advertisement that introduces a new product is usually called announcing advertisement, or a form of advertisement that is announcing the birth of a new product. This kind of advertisement is usually costly in the sense that advertisers or manufacturers use more of advertising media, from radio to television, newspaper, billboards, and the rest of them that are available, so that the product visibility need to be created to see that it appears in as many advertising media as possible. The second objective is to support personal selling program of the manufacturers. At times, manufacturers do feel that sales are not really going the way they ought to. Sales are not at its own peak. Advertisement can be done to further enhance the sale of those products. Or sometimes, maybe as a result of crisis, they usually ushered in Leo moment where people hardly buy because there are a lot of crises. Could be financial crisis, could be some forms of outbreak of violence whereby people were in serious danger that may take some period of time. Within this period, nothing can be sold. But during a turnaround, when things get normal again, advertisers do want to make up for lost periods and embark on serious advertisement. Another objective for advertisement is to reach people inaccessible to salesmen. People who are inaccessible to the salesmen. The factors of salesmen can only come in during maybe integrated marketing communication, where jumbo salesmen and women are used to go out to sell products. And this salesman cannot go around to every person at once because they need to be physically present, like in real marketing. So those that may not be within this catchment area can be assessed through advertisement, so that we as salesmen are not able to reach. Advertisement can go beyond. Another objective is to enter a new market or attract a new group of customers. It is possible where manufacturers sometimes modified an existing product to a different market. Assuming companies that produce factory machines for sewing, after a while, the factory machines can be modified into retail or individual size that can be sold to the open market without necessarily selling between business to business. So such machines can be converted into a sizable form through modification that can now be given out to the general public. In such way, advertisement need to be undertaken to tell the link between the former and the newly modified product. Again, we look at the functions of advertising. What are those things that advertising will do to us? And as usual, the first one is about promotions of sales. Because advertisement persuades and motivates target customers to buy products. So the first functions of advertising is to promote sales. The second function is to announce the birth of a new product, introduce new products. The third is the creations of good public image. These forms of advertisement is not targeting on sales anymore. This advertisement is about building good image in the public. It's about sometimes changing the old perception, which is negative, to a positive public perception. This form is sometimes called corporate advertising, meant to enhance organizations' acceptance in the eyes of the public. The next function is for mass production. Since advertising encourages mass demand, it goes to mean that mass demand can always be supported by mass production. And therefore, where advertisement is effective, it encourages a lot of productions. The last one, but not the least, is that advertising encourages research. Because there are competitions in the market, advertising and at the same time encourages a lot of sales. And so organization ensures that it research into improving the qualities of its product at all times, so that it will continue to remain in competition. So where that does not happen, it means the company has the possibility of folding up since others will research and come up with better product to beat it during competition. Thank you for listening.